Educators have an incredibly challenging and important job. They're responsible for maintaining their students engaged, interested, and attentive so they can learn. Educators compete with seductive distractions embedded in an ocean of information that students are exposed to and drained from every single day. Students learn to expect teaching to be more interesting than video games and social media designed to be addictive. On top of that, we demand from educators that they personalize instruction while being inclusive. We ask that they do this simultaneously, which is morally compelling but operationally very difficult. To make matters worse, research reveals that students forget most of what they're taught in school. Attention is a prerequisite for learning, and it is only one of many other cognitive skills that we rely on to learn. Fortunately, these skills are malleable, which means they can be strengthened and optimized with proper training. While attention is the entry point of information, it isn't alone in processing what we learn into what we know. Teaching faculty and students the science of learning is how we ensure both can flourish. Yet, research suggests most educators and students are not being set up to succeed. For educator training, textbooks used in the programs that train them mostly exclude evidence-based learning strategies. In fact, only 15% of them were found to scantily cover the topic with a single page or more on science of learning. The gap between teaching and learning exists because departments of cognitive science within academia exist completely siloed from departments of education, which is where we prepare teachers to teach. In the past 20 years, we have learned more about the brain and how people learn than in all of human history combined. Unfortunately, though, this doesn't mean anything, because we never really used scientific breakthroughs on learning ever since Ebbinghaus's first discovery in the field back in 1885. Still, the spacing effect is widely unknown despite an abundance of evidence in its favor. The evidence base on human learning is definitely not reaching teachers and students. In fact, access to affordable, high-quality professional development is rare. The gap is even wider in marginalized communities. We ignore evidence at our own peril. We have, at the moment, a mismatch between the skills demanded by our modern economies and those offered by our graduates and by our students. In fact, 50% of the world's workforce will have to be reskilled by 2025. Unemployment and underemployment coexist with jobs that can't be filled. The world our students inherit demands increasingly more complex problem solving, retraining, unlearning, relearning, discerning between fact and fiction, and knowing how to distill information into rational decision making. Therefore, at COGx, we believe that an education succeeds when a teacher graduates out of a learner's life and the student never graduates from the act of learning. The current approach to teaching is often disconnected from how students learn and causes too many students to drop out, struggle, or work too hard to do well. This, in turn, inhibits interest and careers in STEM, which are often perceived to be too hard by students or for smart kids. As a result of all this, we are preparing students to compete in the fourth industrial revolution, while we remain anchored to some misguided beliefs upon which schools were first introduced during the first industrial revolution. Engagement decreases steadily from elementary school through high school, impacting students' ability to succeed academically. Sadly, creativity and engagement peak by first or second grade for students, gradually decreasing with every year of schooling. Most of us graduate from school not knowing how to learn effectively. Now, what class does any school offer that is more important than a course that could prepare their students to succeed in every single class they offer and beyond? We are expected to learn, but we're not taught how. In our next video, we'll explore what research reveals about how we should teach and learn based on cognitive science.